Alright, welcome back guys to another deck tech here from Commander Techs. Tonight we are featuring the decks from Season 1, Episode 12 with Sigarda, Tulane, Jhoira, and Kaalia.
Like we said last time, we had a lot of requests to do these tech videos, so we thought we would oblige by making them. We're going to show you some key components to our decks that we created, so if you're interested, you can have a great place to start building your own decks. But we're firm believers that you can take these beginnings and make them into your own decks with your own personal touch and flair.
Also, this video is sponsored by Friends Gather Here. Please wear a mask. Please be safe. COVID is real. Also, I'm Jose.
I'm Corey.
This is Jim.
This is Quinn.
And Jose, I guess kick us off with Sigarda, Heron's Grace.
Wonderful. So, I'm running Selesnya, green-white. Sigarda, Heron's Grace. She basically gives all my humans hexproof along with me hexproof. And so basically the whole point of this deck is to get a bunch of humans out, protect them and buff them, and swing for lethal. Pretty straightforward. In terms of mana ramp, I have 3 cards that I think really stick out for this deck. Land Tax, Explosive Vegetation, Temple of the False God. Essentially what Land Tax does, if an opponent plays a land and they have more lands than you, you get to search your deck for 3 basic lands and put them in your hand. That's phenomenal. And I think it's like a 2-drop. Or it might be
one drop.
It's a 1-drop. See, first turn you get that sucker out. Oh my gosh, you'll have a lot of lanes. In terms of card draw, we have a couple here. We have Duskwatch Recruiter, Courageous Outrider, and Eldamri's Call. They're all really, really good in terms of finding your humans and whatever creature you need for the situation you're in. Eldamri's Call is awesome. It's a 2-drop, 1 green, 1 white, and it tutors for any creature in your deck, and you just put it in your hand. Pretty cool. In terms of removal, we have a nice wombo combo here with Wrath of God or Descend Upon the Sinful and Teferi's Protection. Then we have Spear of Heliod and Aura Shards. Now, Spear of Heliod is phenomenal because it doubles as a creature buff as well. It's an artifact enchantment that gives your creatures +1/+1, and you pay 2 white and 1 colorless, and if a creature dealt damage to you, you destroy that creature. Pretty awesome. Lastly, for key pieces, or actually second to last, there we go. For key pieces, we have a couple here. These are fundamental for this deck. They're basically the bread and butter. Yisan the Wanderer Bard, Thalia, Heretic Cathar, and Odric Lunar Marshal. Now Yisan is phenomenal for the fact that he's a 3-drop, really cheap. You pay 1 green and then 2 colorless to use his ability, and you add a counter, and then basically you search your deck for a creature with converted mana cost with equal to his counters, and you put it on the battlefield. You can go from Gideon, or Kithian, my apologies, a 1-drop to Kozilek 10. Pretty awesome. Lastly, little extras for this deck that really make it go around. We have Riders of Gavony for protection, Kozilek Butcher of Truths for mill protection, and then the archetypes, Endurance and Courage specifically to prevent your opponent's creatures from actually getting abilities like Hexproof and First Strike, and to allow all your creatures to get them. So overall, this deck is phenomenal, and I encourage you guys to give it a shot.
Sounds pretty awesome. Like Selesnya is a pretty fun combo too. Like green gives white the extra need for ramp that it needs, and quite honestly, I love to pair white with any color because white is one of my favorites, and so yeah.
Yeah.
But up next, we have Tulane Teller of Tales, the deck I played, and it's pretty cool because whenever I cast a creature, I can play a land and draw a card. So with that, I don't need much ramp and much draw, and it's an all-around draw and ramp engine itself. But then it also has protection too, because I can pay 3, tap Tulane, and return a creature to my hand, and then I can keep casting. It's just a whole-around good commander. For land and ramp, since I don't need much, I do run, though, Growing Rites of Itlimoc, Circuitous Root, and Beanstalk Giant. Growing Rites of Itlimoc, if I get that thing transformed, like I can tap it for green and add green for each creature I control, which is huge. Like it's an amazing card, like in itself, and so definitely all around helps. Card draw, I have a little bit, so I have Biden of Thassa, Rhystic Study, and Psychic Possession as examples. Rhystic Study speaks for itself. You just sit back and watch your cards come into hand. Biden of Thassa helps me swing with those creatures and get mana, and it's just all around good. For removal and protection or board wipes, I use 3 primarily board wipes and stuff just in case I need them. Washout, Supreme Verdict, and Time Wipe. Cool thing about Time Wipe is I bounce a creature to my hand like Tulane, so I don't have to pay the commander tax. So
This guy.
so then it's a pretty good board wipe in that sense. And then key components to this deck are a lot of like cheap creatures that don't cost that much. So cards like Triton Shorestalker, Edric Master of Tress, Spy Master of Tress, and Horizon Chimera are just some overall key good staples and help me, fuel the deck. So it's pretty cool. Some fun and other cards. So the reason I built Tulane and stuff was I really like a lot of the Bant creatures. Like there's some really, really cool ones out there like Skyward Eye Prophets, Guiltspire Avenger, and Rubinia Soulsinger, and I just wanted to incorporate those more. And with that being said, you guys also saw I have an alternate win con in this deck as well. When the game was getting a little dry on last week's episode, I had Leveler and Labman, which worked together to secure my victory in an obscure and weird way. And of course, I also have Lighthouse Chronologist, which is an overall pretty bonkers card. So
Gotta go check it out for yourself.
I gotta go check it out for yourself. So, but yeah, it was Tulane's pretty cool deck. So.
All right, next we've got the Joyra of the Gitu deck. A lot of you might recognize this commander from the last Deck Tech video from our boy Quinn. He has his own Joyra deck, and he's actually the one that inspired me to make my Joyra deck. So you'll see a lot of similarities, might be a few differences, but we'll start out with the strategy. So the strategy is to utilize the suspend ability to get those big boys out there. In my case, it's as well as Quinn's was the Eldrazi. That's how we win. We get those big boys out there like Emrakul, the Promised End, Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, It That Betrays, and Void Winnower. There's some big Eldrazi that do a lot of damage. Got a lot of fun abilities on them that they can use as well. So, they're not just big hitters. But you could replace those with any big stompies that you want, any big cards. Next, we have land and ramps. So we have Soul Ring, Aetherplasm, Aetherworks Marvel, and Terrain Generator. Terrain Generator was kind of just a strange land that I came across one time. It kind of helps me get out some basic lands a bit faster for a small price. Aetherplasm and Aetherworks Marvel as well, they work slightly differently. They're not land or ramps, but they help me get those big cards out there, kind of cheat them out, get them out there for free or very low mana, because the last thing I want to do is pay that much mana for them.
You can't beat free 99.
Exactly. Next, we have card draw, and for that I have Arcanist the Omnipotent, Preordain, and Binding of Thassa. Arcanist the Omnipotent just has a lot of value. He is kind of expensive, but each turn you can tap and get those 3 cards. Preordain is similar to Ponder as well. They're just really good utility cards, both early and late game. You can kind of organize the top of your deck, get some good utility out of them. And Binding of Thassa, as Corey mentioned before, get some extra cards when you're attacking people is always good. We have the removal and protection. I have Swiftfoot Boots, Whisper Silk Cloak, Dissipation Field, Whiplash Trap, and Propaganda. Swiftfoot Boots and Whisper Silk Cloak are just as much protection for my big boys as it is for my commander, because she's kind of squishy. She can taken out pretty quickly. But the Swiftfoot Boots and Whisper Silk Cloak kind of help, and Whisper Silk gives Shroud unblockable. Unblockable, it's nice on the big boys. Get an extra 13 damage in there for free is always good. With the key pieces, I have the big cards, like I said before, but also any cards that can remove time counters or make the suspend counters go by quicker, like Clock Spinning, Rift Elemental, Shivan Sandmage, and Joyra's Time Bug. They can remove those time counters and knock it down from a 4-turn wait to maybe even a 2 or 1-turn wait. And some fun other cards are Temporal Mastery, Temporal Trespass, and Mindslaver. Really good. I kind of like the whole extra turn thing, or take another person's turn. I know some people don't like it, but I'll take a second turn if I can. Never pass that up.
And just showcasing like that deck. I mean, extra turns really go a long way in like a Joyra deck.
Exactly.
And you could probably kind of see it in mine and Jimmy's deck.
Just remember, boys and girls, all it takes is 1 negate, and all of that can be prevented.
A lot of counter spells can negate that.
2 mana.
2 mana.
Mana cost is good. All right, so I guess without further ado, I'll bring up the caboose in this deck tech video, and I'll talk about my commander, Kalia Zenseeker. So the strategy of the deck is to blink Kalia as much as possible and find demons, dragons, and angels and smash face with them, you know. And that's basically how I win, is I smash face and take extra turns with or not extra turns, but extra combat steps with Aurelio the War Leader and just overwhelm my opponents with flying crazy things. So as you can see in these colors, there's not a whole lot of ramp in here, but I do have Hedron Archive, Mind Stone, and Orzhov Signet. The Hedron Archive and the Mind Stone kind of serve as a dual purpose of card draw and mana ramp, and the Orzhov Signet is kind of just like mana ramp, where you can kind of fix your mana, but you guys can check that out for yourself. Getting into the card draw, I do have Commander Sphere, Cathartic Reunion, and Faithless Looting. The Cathartic Reunion and Faithless Looting, you have to pitch some cards in order to draw cards, which isn't always a bad thing, because maybe you've got some extra lands in your hand that you can kind of discard, so you can dig deeper to find those big creatures to get them into your hand. For the removal aspect, I have kind of spot removal like Swords to Plowshares and Despark, which exile creatures, and I also have mass board wipes. Example of that is End Hostilities, where I believe it destroys all creatures that aren't enchanted, which is kind of a niche board wipe, but it usually gets the job done more times than not. Some of the key pieces, like I said before, I want to blink Kalia as much as possible, so cards like Cloud Shift and the Immense Ferret and Conjurer's Closet are the three big ones in this deck. The Cloud Shift and the Immense Ferret are kind of one-ofs, or one-time uses, besides for the Immense Ferret, because I think it has Rebound. I'm not quite sure on that. And Conjurer's Closet kind of goes along with like the whole board, unless if it gets blown up, obviously. And then kind of like a fun kind of alternate win con that I kind of included with this deck is Liliana's Contract, where if I control 4 or more demons at my upkeep with different names, I win the game. So I haven't really got the chance to find the full potential of that card yet, but eventually one day I'll get it to go off. So, well, I guess that kind of concludes our video for this deck tech.
Yeah, I mean, thank you all for watching. We hope you like these deck techs and stuff, and they broaden the horizon, help you get the key components and key aspects of our decks to build your own and stuff. But once again, we don't want to just give you all 100 cards of our decks, because the big aspect of playing Magic the Gathering and when it comes to EDH is building your own decks and putting all that creativity and effort. And it's really cool to play that first game after you made your own deck, to see all of those thoughts and creations come to life in a Magic the Gathering game. So we hope with what we're giving you, we've got the tools and body to build your decks.
You'll feel proud. And if you have a deck that you want us to check out, drop in the comments, and we'll give it a shot. It might even be featured in one of our videos.
And regardless of what you guys use these videos for, we do appreciate any feedback you'll have. We try to respond to all comments, and if it's just you guys trying to say hi, we'll try to say hi right back. Appreciate anything you guys might have to say.
And don't forget to smash the like button.
Hit the subscribe button.
And
Ring the bell for notifications.
And see you next time.